As the Civil War continued, abolitionists put pressure on President Abraham Lincoln to address the issue of slavery. One of Lincoln's biggest critics was Frederick Douglass. Douglass wrote newspaper editorials and used his speaking engagements, both nationally and internationally, to put pressure on President Lincoln to make the abolishment of slavery essential to the Union's political platform. Douglass maintained that the enlistment of African American soldiers and Lincoln's public acknowledgement that the Civil War was indeed about slavery would allow the nation to learn a lesson of liberty that could be learned in no other way. Despite the insistence of abolitionists and some of Lincoln's cabinet members, Lincoln believed the only true measure of freedom for African Americans could come through an amendment to the Constitution, which could not be enforced in the Confederate States. Nevertheless, in July 1862, Lincoln began toiling over the language of the Emancipation Proclamation and presented a draft to Secretary of State William Seward and Secretary of the Navy Gideon Welles. After the Battle of Antietam on September 17, 1862, President Lincoln unexpectedly issued a Preliminary Emancipation Proclamation on September 22 as confidence boosted the morale of the North. Requiring every cabinet member to report to his office at noon, the President announced his plans for emancipation. Gentlemen, I have, as you are aware, thought a great deal about the relation of the war to slavery. I determined to issue a proclamation of emancipation, such as I thought most likely to be useful. I have got you together to hear what I have written down. I do not wish your advice about the main matter, for that I have determined for myself. This meeting and these words spoken by Lincoln declared that on January 1, 1863, all slaves in the rebellious states would be forever free. Black men and women, long before the Civil War, resisted the confines of bondage. However, Lincoln did provide the legal groundwork for recognizing and legitimizing African Americans' quest and innate right to citizenship. Frederick Douglass recognized Lincoln's promise as such when he stated, "We shout for joy that we live to record this righteous decree." On December 1, 1862, President Lincoln proposed 3 constitutional amendments to the U.S. Congress. First, all slaves that did not fall under the Emancipation Proclamation would be gradually emancipated into the year 1900. Second, any slaves that were free during or before the war would remain free thereafter. Third, the United States would pay for consensual colonization. On December 13, 1862, one of the largest battles in December, the Battle of Fredericksburg, ended in Union defeat. Major General Ambrose E. Burnside bombarded Fredericksburg, Virginia, ending with 12,600 Union casualties to the Confederate losses of 5,300. Morale in the North quickly plummeted, and rumors spread that Lincoln would not keep his promise to issue the Emancipation Proclamation in the coming month. On New Year's Eve, 1862, there remained great hope among African Americans gathered near Washington, D.C. One man reflected on the sale of his daughter, stating, "Now no more of that. They can't sell my wife and children anymore. Bless the Lord."